Africa is rising, not just in economic strides and development, but also in military might. And the 2025 Global Fire Peace Index proves it loud and clear. From the fierce fighter jets that rouse across the skies to the unstoppable tank battalions, Africa's top militaries are showcasing a new era of strength, readiness, and modernization. Hello everyone, welcome to ConnectsLogTv, where we create entertainment videos about Africa and the world. Today, we're diving into the top 30 African countries with the strongest military strength in 2025 by the Global Fire Peace Index 2025, using the following parameters: number of military personnel and training, Air Force capabilities, fighter jets, arterial system, land capabilities, vehicles, military tanks, artilleries, rocket launchers, naval power, warships, submarines, water patrol equipment, and budgetary allocation. Let's get started. Starting off the list at number 30 is Senegal, a true underdog making serious waves in West Africa. Ranked 125th globally on the 2025 Global Fire Peace Index, Senegal's military might not be the biggest, but it's all about professionalism, discipline, and smart modernization. With 13,600 active troops plus 5,000 paramilitary forces, they keep their team lean, well-trained, and always ready. Senegal boasts about 40 aircraft, modern patrol vessels guarding its coasts, and a steadily growing land force, now equipped with Turkish drones and armored vehicles. What really makes Senegal stand out? Its troops are among the most respected in Africa, often chosen for UN peacekeeping missions and regional security operations. Thanks to close training ties with the US and France, these forces stay sharp and professional. Even with a modest $515 million defense budget, Senegal is making smart moves, reducing reliance on France and building a new defense partnership around the world. Coming in at number 29 is Mauritania, a quiet force with a sharp focus. Ranked 123rd worldwide on the 2025 Global Fire Peace Index, Mauritania isn't just chasing massive firepower, it's laser focused on border security and counter-terrorism. With 15,850 active troops, a $260 million budget, and elite units like commandos and special intervention battalions, Mauritania stands ready against regional threats. On land, it fields 51 tanks, mostly T-55s, over 1,000 armored vehicles, and solid anti-tank capabilities. In the skies, Mauritania uses Embraer Super Tucanos, surveillance planes, and helicopters for swift response. At sea, it's boosting its navy with Chinese-built patrol ships to protect its coast. Recent upgrades include new Chinese armored vehicles and coastal patrol vessels, which shows Mauritania's seriousness about modernization and staying ahead. At number 28, we have Botswana, ranked 122nd globally out of 145 countries and 28th in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Botswana's military, the Botswana Defense Force (BDF), might be small, but it punches above its weight in professionalism and regional peacekeeping. With about 12,000 active personnel, the BDF's air wing fields 11 CF-5 fighter jets, transport planes like the C-130 Hercules, and a mix of helicopters including Bell 412s and AS-350s. On ground, Botswana boasts over 100 armored vehicles, including Piranha 3CS and BTR-60s, supporting 2 infantry brigades and an armored brigade, with around $465 million, showing serious commitment to security, about 2.8% of its GDP. Botswana shines in anti-poaching, disaster relief, and regional peace missions in Lesotho, Mozambique, Somalia, and Darfur. Upgrades include new air defense systems and armored vehicles, plus future plans hint at even stronger air and cyber capabilities. Despite its modest ranking, Botswana is among Africa's growing fast militaries, focused on staying agile and ready to protect its people and support regional stability. Taking the 27th position is Republic of Congo. The Republic of Congo, often overshadowed on the African stage, holds its own global military ranking of 121st out of 145 in the 2025 Global Firepower Index, putting it at 27th in Africa, with about 8,500 active personnel and an extra 2,500 paramilitary forces. Congo's army may be small, but it's built to handle both land and internal security challenges. On ground, they roll out a mix of Soviet-era tanks like the T-54 and 55, Chinese Type 59s, and modern armored vehicles like the Miranda MRAPs, making their land force surprisingly diverse. In the skies, the Air Force is modest, boasting only 2 Mirage F-1 fighter jets and some transport planes and a few helicopters, including the tough MiL Mi-24 attack chopper. At sea, Congo's navy remains limited patrol boats and a single helicopter, enough to secure its riverine borders. Congo recently doubled troop salaries and poured over $1 billion into security spending to boost morale and tackle threats from armed groups. Our journey continues with Eritrea, ranked 120th globally and 26th in Africa by the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Eritrea may not top the charts, but it packs a punch in the Horn of Africa with a massive 120,000 active troops and an extensive reserve pool thanks to its strict national service. Eritrea boasts one of the largest manpower-based armies on the continent. The ground forces rely on tough, battle-tested Soviet-era tanks like the T-55 and the T-62, while its Air Force fields MiG-29s and the Su-27s along its Red Sea coast. Eritrea's navy defends vital waterways with patrol boats and missile systems. Its strength: a huge manpower reserve, strategic coastal position, and real combat experience. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Niger comes in at number 25. Niger might not make headlines every day, but in 2025, it's flexing a new muscle on the African stage, ranked 119th in the world with a global firepower score of 2.6689, 25,000 active personnel, and plans to double by 2030. Niger's strength lies mainly on ground troops. No navy needed in this landlocked powerhouse. Its Air Force supports critical anti-terrorism operations across the Sahel. After cutting ties with Western allies, Niger is now turning to Russia for training and heavy support. Meanwhile, it's teaming up with Burkina Faso and Mali to launch a bold, joint 5,000 troop force against jihadist threats, proving its readiness to lead in regional security. Heading Southern Africa, Namibia takes the 24th position with a ranking of 116th worldwide and 24th in Africa. With a power score of 2.6384, Namibia proves that focus and discipline can make a big impact. The Namibian Defense Force (NDF), with about 17,500 active personnel and a budget of around $434 million, the army shines with well-trained infantry, modernized artillery like the BM-21 rocket launchers, and homegrown armored vehicles like the Werewolf Mk2, while its Air Force is modest, mainly operating helicopters and trainers. Namibia makes up for it with a growing Marine Corps, coastal patrol unit, and a solid Special Forces division trained by South Africa and Brazil. Namibia is also a reliable peacekeeper across Africa, showing up in hotspots from Sudan to the Congo. Uganda comes in at 23. Uganda, flexing serious muscle in East Africa, ranked 114th worldwide on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Uganda's army, the Uganda's People's Defense Force (UPDF), is built on about 45,000 active troops and 16,000 reserves, with over 60 million people fit for service if needed. On land, Uganda packs a punch with 259 tanks, nearly 4,000 armored vehicles, and a powerful artillery unit. In the skies, it fields 51 aircraft, including the fierce Russian-made Sukhoi Su-30 fighter jets and Mi-24 attack helicopters, giving it credible airstrike and support capabilities. Uganda Special Force Command is a standout, an elite unit trained to handle top-tier threats and regional missions. The UPDF has also gained fame for its active role in peacekeeping and anti-terror ops, backed by almost $1 billion defense budget. Uganda remains determined to secure its borders and influence the region. Moving eastward again, we have South Sudan at number 22. Ranked 113th out of 145 on the Global Firepower Index 2025. South Sudan's military might is still developing but showing signs of growth with a power index score of 2.4321, yet is one of Africa's fastest growing forces, rising steadily from a low base. On ground, South Sudan relies mostly on its land forces with a modest number of tanks and armored vehicles. Its air power is limited to about 19 aircraft, including Mi-35 attack helicopters and a few transport choppers, enough for internal security but far from regional dominance. Ranked 111th worldwide and 21st in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index, Zimbabwe's military, with around 29,000 active troops and 21,800 reservists. Zimbabwe fields a dedicated force supported by elite units like its paratroopers and special forces trained for rapid interventions and regional missions. In the skies, Zimbabwe operates 90 aircraft, including MiG-23 fighter jets, Chinese J-7 jets, and powerful Mi-35 attack helicopters, enough to defend its airspace and support ground operations. On ground, it maintains tanks, armored vehicles, and a disciplined army. While the defense budget is modest at $530 million, Zimbabwe focuses on specialized training and regional peacekeeping rather than massive firepower. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Ghana takes the 20th position, ranked 110th in the world and 20th in Africa by the Global Firepower Index 2025, with around 14,000 active personnel. Ghana's armed force includes a well-organized army, a vigilant navy protecting the coastlines, and an air force flying light attack and transport aircraft like the Super Tucano and the Casa C-295. The army boasts armored vehicles, reconnaissance units, artilleries, and special presidential guards, while the navy operates offshore patrol vessels, safeguarding Ghana's rich marine resources. The Air Force supports vital regional security and humanitarian missions. Ghana shines as a top UN peacekeeper, proudly sending troops to missions in Lebanon, South Sudan, and beyond. The country also joins major international exercises like Flintlocks and African Lion, strengthening its counter-terror and regional defense skills, although its defense budget is modest, about 0.4% of its GDP. Ghana focuses on targeted upgrades, adding new APCs and marine patrol capabilities to stay mission ready. Venturing to the 19th position, we have Zambia, ranked 109th globally and 19th in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Zambia's military is quite impressive, with around 15,000 active troops, a large reserve of trained manpower, and a defense budget of $395 million. Zambia focuses on protecting its borders and supporting regional peace. In the skies, Zambia fields about 77 aircraft, including Chinese-made light attack jets like the K-8 and L-15, plus transport planes and helicopters for mobility. On ground, its army runs a mix of armored personnel carriers, escort vehicles, and infantry, enough to defend the country but not designed for large-scale offense operations. While it doesn't have a navy, since it's landlocked, Zambia makes up for it through strong partnerships, especially with China, which helps modernize, equip, and train troopers. Mali is ranked 104th globally and 18th in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Mali has beefed up its arsenal with Russian tanks, armored vehicles, and heavy artilleries, plus a game-changing fleet of Turkish Bayraktar drones and Russian attack helicopters. These high-tech additions have given Mali a powerful edge in fighting against jihadist insurgents. Heading westward, we have Ivory Coast, ranked 17th in Africa and 102nd globally. Ivory Coast is making steady military gains with about 22,000 active troops and 27,500 in reserve. The country is investing smartly in defense, backed by a $658 million budget, from upgraded Chinese-made vehicles to new marine patrol capabilities. The Ivorian army is focused on border protection, counter-terrorism, and coastal security, though it has a modest air fleet of around 19 trained aircraft, and a growing naval fleet. It punches above its weight in regional security. Ivory Coast recently took over the last French military base on its soil, marking a powerful step towards military self-reliance. Cameroon takes the 16th position, ranked 93rd in the world and 16th in Africa. Cameroon's military is growing fast, with around 40,000 active personnel, a dedicated gendarmerie, and a defense budget hovering around $350 to $560 million. Cameroon focuses on border defense and counter-terrorism. On land, they operate over 400 armored vehicles, rocket launchers, and a mix of artillery systems. Cameroon fields about 35 aircrafts, including transport planes and combat-capable jets, and along its shores, a modest navy of about 51 patrol vessels keep the coast secure. The true star, the Rapid Intervention Battalion (BIR), an elite force trained to tackle enough missions, known for agility and international partnerships. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. East African giant Tanzania lands on the 15th position, ranked 92nd in the world and 15th in Africa. Tanzania's military might not make the loudest noise, but it stands strong and steady, with about 27,000 active troops and 80,000 reservists. The Tanzania People's Defense Force (TPDF) is well trained, disciplined, and always ready to defend. On land, Tanzania fields over 1,000 armored vehicles and dozens of tanks, giving it a solid ground strength. In the skies, the Air Force flies a mix of Chinese F-7 fighter jets, transport aircraft, and versatile helicopters, ensuring they can move quickly when needed. Tanzania also guards its vast coastal line with a fleet of patrol boats and fast attack crafts, maintaining a watchful eye over the Indian Ocean. With a defense budget of about $2.2 billion, Tanzania invests in modernization and peacekeeping, proudly supporting missions across Africa and beyond. Cruising to Northern Africa, we have Tunisia, ranked 14th in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Tunisia proves that you don't need massive firepower to stay strong and ready. With around 90,000 active personnel, Tunisia focuses on solid defense, border security, and rapid response. On ground, it boasts modern armored vehicles like the BMC Kepri and Ada Yelchin, keeping its forces agile and protected. In the skies, Tunisia flies F-5 fighter jets, powerful C-130 transport planes, and a growing fleet of helicopters and drones, all set to tackle any mission. At sea, Tunisia's navy defends the Mediterranean coast with fast coastal vessels and strategic bases, ensuring maritime safety. Mozambique, located in southern Africa, takes the 13th position, ranked 89th in the world and 13th in Africa. With about 13,000 active troops, the country's forces are fighting hard, especially in the north, against deadly insurgencies. On land, Mozambique relies on Soviet-era tanks and armored vehicles, while its navy has about 200 personnel, uses fast patrol boats to guard the long coastline. In the skies, around 16 aircraft, including MiG-21 jets and transport planes, give some air cover. Ranked 84th worldwide and 12th strongest in Africa. On the Global Firepower Index, Chad packs a punch where it matters most, with about 33,000 active troops. Chad's military is tough, battle-tested, and known for tackling threats and keeping its vast borders secure. On ground, Chad fields around 90 tanks and over 3,300 armored vehicles, making its land forces one of the most mobile in the Sahel. In the skies, it operates around 40 aircraft, including MiG-29 fighter jets, Su-25 attack planes, and even Turkish drones. East Africa powerhouse Kenya comes in at number 11, ranked 83rd globally and 11th strongest in Africa. Kenya's defense forces are a true regional powerhouse with around 50,000 active personnel and a budget of $1.3 billion. The country fields a strong and balanced force designed to keep the nation and region secure. On ground, Kenya boasts over 4,000 armored vehicles and nearly 200 tanks, giving it a solid firepower for peacekeeping and border defense. In the skies, its 156 aircraft, including 23 fighter jets and dozens of helicopters, keep watch from above. Meanwhile, the Navy patrols the coastline with modern vessels and elite marine units, supported by new shipbuilding capabilities. But Kenya's real edge is its world-class special forces, trained for rapid deployment and counter-terrorism, from Somalia to peacekeeping missions across Africa. Thanks to its strong partnership with the US, UK, and more, Kenya's troops are constantly sharpening their skills in major exercise. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Libya comes in at 10, ranked 76th in the world and 10th in Africa. Libya's military is a unique mix of promises and challenges. Despite years of civil war and internal division, Libya still fields a surprisingly diverse arsenal, from tanks to powerful artilleries to combat drones like the Turkish Bayraktar TB2 and the Chinese Winglung. On land, Libya holds a decent number of tanks and armored vehicles, while in the skies, it boasts fighter jets, heavily supported by foreign allies like Turkey and Russia. Sudan, ranked 9th and 73rd globally on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Sudan's military is a complex mix of strength, innovation, and internal strength, with over 92,000 active troops and 85,000 in reserve. Sudan commands one of Africa's largest manpower pool. On ground, Sudan fields a tough collection of tankers, artilleries, and modernized units, ready to defend and engage in the skies. The country operates around 165 aircraft, blending Russian jets, Chinese drones, and attack helicopters. What really sets Sudan apart is its homegrown defense industry. Thanks to the Military Industry Corporation, the nation produces its own armored vehicles, ammunition, and even UAVs, making it less dependent on foreign supplies. Moving to Central Africa, DRC Congo takes the 8th position, ranked 66th in the world and 8th in Africa. The Democratic Republic of Congo, DRC, may not have the flashiest weapons, but is one of Central Africa's largest and most resilient forces, with over 134,000 active troops. The DRC boasts a powerful manpower base. Its military is heavily involved in protecting its vast territory, especially the conflict-ridden East. While its air and naval power is limited, DRC Congo makes up for it with sheer numbers, a growing modernization drive, and experience in real combat conditions. On land, the DRC operates hundreds of tanks and armored vehicles. The Navy focuses on patrolling rivers and lakes. Recent investments show a shift towards modernizing radar systems, gear, and command structure. The country continues to tackle rebel groups and often teaming up with neighbors like Uganda in joint operations. Moving northward of the continent, we have Morocco, ranked 59th in the world and 7th in Africa. Morocco is flexing serious muscle in North Africa with over 195,000 active troops, modernized tankers, and advanced artilleries. Its land forces are the backbone of its strength. Up in the skies, Morocco boasts around 260 aircraft, including F-16 fighter jets and newly acquired Apache attack helicopters, giving it a solid air dominance. On the seas, the Royal Navy sails over 120 vessels, including modern frigates and patrol boats. Backing it all is a strong defense budget of $13.4 billion, enabling Morocco to continuously upgrade and train through major drills like African Lion in partnership with the US and other allies. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. Angola ranks 56th in the world and 6th in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Angola's military is a force you can't ignore, with over 107,000 active troops. Angola stands strong on land, in the air, and along its Atlantic coast. Angola boasts a solid fleet of tankers and armored vehicles, including T-55s, T-72s, and BMPs, ready to roll at any time. In the skies, Angola shines with about 286 aircraft, featuring powerful Su-27 and Su-30 fighter jets, attack helicopters, and heavy transport, making it one of Africa's top-tier forces. At sea, the Angola Navy may be small, with around 31 vessels, but it keeps the coastal line secure and recently upgraded with a modern naval base in Soyo. Despite a more modest defense budget of around $1.1 billion, Angola's military remains highly capable, benefiting from strategic Atlantic location and strong natural resources. Heading to the Horn of Africa, and in 5th place we have Ethiopia, ranked 52nd in the world and 5th in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Ethiopia's military stands as a quiet giant on the continent, with over 160,000 active troops and more than 105,000 regional special forces. Ethiopia commands one of Africa's largest and most battle-tested armies, a true legacy of its rich military history. On land, Ethiopia fields over 7,000 armored vehicles and nearly 340 tanks, making it a serious ground powerhouse. In the skies, it flies an impressive fleet of Su-27s, Su-30s, and MiG-23s, and modern drones like the Barakata TB2. Boosting its aerial strength and surveillance. Despite being landlocked, Ethiopia dreams big, is pushing a plan for a future navy and securing Red Sea port access to project its influence even further. With an annual defense budget of about $2 billion, local defense industries are also rising, building drones, producing ammunition, and developing homegrown equipment. Venturing to the southern tip of the continent is South Africa, ranked 4th in Africa and 40th globally. South Africa remains one of the continent's most capable forces, even if budget cuts have slowed it down. With over 71,000 active troops, strong reserves, and a top-tier defense industry. On land, South Africa fields hundreds of armored vehicles and powerful Elephant tanks. In the skies, it operates advanced helicopters and is developing a deadly Miko 380 drone. At sea, it boasts a modern fleet of stealth frigates and submarines, making its navy one of Africa's best, backed by homegrown defense giants like Denel and Paramount. South Africa exports cutting-edge equipment across the globe. Moving eastward, at number 3 is Nigeria, ranked 31st globally and now the 3rd strongest military in Africa. Nigeria's armed forces are stepping boldly into new era with over 280,000 personnel, modern tanks, and a growing drone fleet. The country is boosting its land, air, and naval power like never before. In the skies, Nigeria has unleashed a powerful lineup. Brand new Italian M3460 fighter jets, Turkish T-129 attack helicopters, American AH-1Z Vipers, and advanced drones like the Barakata TB2 and the Winglong 2. The Nigerian army is also modernizing fast with new helicopters and armored vehicles, while integrating drones into ground operations for superior intelligence and precision strikes. On the seas, the Navy now fields over 130 vessels, including powerful offshore patrol ships to secure Nigeria's waters against piracy and protect its oil-rich coasts. Backed by a massive 6 trillion naira defense budget, around $5.3 billion, Nigeria is not just buying foreign equipment, it's also boosting local production of drones, armored vehicles, and ammunition, setting the stage for future self-reliance. Algeria comes in 2nd place, ranked 26th globally and 2nd in Africa on the 2025 Global Firepower Index. Algeria, with over 610 personnel, the country boasts one of Africa's most powerful and modernized armed forces. On land, Algeria rolls out 1,500 tankers, advanced artillery, and a brand new Chinese VT-4 main battle tank, plus cutting-edge radars and locally produced heavy weapons. In the skies, Algeria's air force is a true powerhouse, flying Su-35s, Su-30s, MiG-29s, and the deadly Su-34 strike jets, plus a growing fleet of drones like the Winglong 2 and the CH-5. They're also boosting transport with the Casa C-295s and the shiny new AW-139 helicopters. At sea, Algeria commands one of Africa's strongest navies, featuring Kilo-class submarines, German-designed Meko frigates, and Chinese-built corvettes, all supported by a massive coastal patrol fleet, backed by a whopping $18 billion defense budget in 2023. Algeria is not just buying from local shipyards to new homegrown weapon systems. Algeria is moving towards military self-reliance while keeping strong ties with Russia, China, and Europe. If you've gotten this far, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, and share the video. And finally, at the pinnacle of African military strength, we have the powerhouse of Egypt at number 1. When it comes to military power in Africa, Egypt stands tall and unstoppable, ranked number 1 in Africa and among the top 20 militaries in the world. Egypt boasts an army of over 1.2 million personnel with nearly 3,600 tanks and a massive arsenal of rocket launchers and armored vehicles ready to roll. In the sky, Egypt dominates with more than 1,000 aircrafts, including modern F-15EX fighters, C-130J Super Hercules transports, and new light attack jets. The Egyptian Air Force isn't just strong, it is the king of the north and Middle East to an extent. At sea, Egypt commands a powerful navy, a cutting-edge Meko A-200 frigates, advanced submarines, and hundreds of coastal defense vessels. And that's not all. Egypt recently supercharged its air defense with Chinese HQ-9B missiles, German Iris-T systems, and a massive new stock of American Stinger missiles, making its skies nearly untouchable. On top of that, Egypt is taking a big leap in self-reliance, producing its own armored vehicles and rockets, even launching military satellites with China's help to boost its intelligence and surveillance game. With a defense budget topping $5 billion, unstoppable modernization, and a powerful partnership worldwide, Egypt is not just flexing muscles, it is building an unmatchable fortress on land, in the air, at sea, and even in space. With an incredible expedition, it has been exploring the top 30 African countries with impressive military might in 2025. This nation not only showcases their strength, but also contributes to peacekeeping, conflict resolution, and stability across the continent. Join us next time for another captivating journey through the heart of Africa. Until then, remember that strength and unity pave the way for a peaceful and prosperous future. Like, comment, subscribe, and share. And as always, stay connected and stay inspired. See you on the next one.